Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. I'm actually re-recording this intro because I was initially going to make this video based around Warlock feedback for the War Within after we got like the demo overhaul and the AF overhaul. I guess, the changes to the AF overhaul this week. But the more I talked in the video and stuff, I realized that I want to make this video more focused on, I think, the major problem with Warlock spec trees and all that, and not just Warlock, it pertains to other classes as well, but pathing issues and things talent-wise with the Warlock tree specifically in this video, spec trees, in the War Within. I will make a feedback video, probably releasing it like in 24 to 48 hours. I want to release that simultaneously with the text document based on feedback, and I don't have enough time to do that all today. Plus, this video is about 25 minutes long. I wanted to hit on the main pathing issues, ways to resolve that, and just talk through it all. And then a day or two, give my more in-depth thoughts on the class tree, spec tree, thematically, flavor-wise, all that, hitting on more abilities like in-depth, like Soul Conduit and things like that, and go from there. So yeah, if you want any of that, no feedback doc in this video yet, but the next one will be out, and when it is, day or so, I'll have it linked down below in the description in that video. But I want to talk about the core problems today with the pathing, hope for some, potential changes in later builds, and go from there. So enough rambling, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off here. We're going to be jumping around a bit between Wowhead, Twitter, some various other resources and stuff, images. So we're going to start off here looking at the Warlock trees and just elaborate from there. Not going to hit on hero talents into the class tree a whole lot here. Save that for later on. For the most part, the class tree I think is okay. It's fine-ish. I wouldn't mind another capstone with some fun like thematic ability. Like Grand Warlocks in the class tree would have been cool, but not going to happen obviously. Pact of Gluttony is very cool, very strong. Soul Conduit being a capstone's okay. I wish it was 10%. Probably should be 10. 5 is just too low for a capstone. But for the most part, it's fine. We got Demonic Tactics. We got We got this with Artifice, reduced Soulstone and Hellstone cast time. It's fine overall. It's okay. There's that. Hero talents, honestly, I think they're all pretty fun. A couple things here and there I might hit on later on in another video based on feedback, but I want to focus on the actual spec trees. And obviously Demonology is the main focal point today. A little bit of AF and some Demon or Destro at some point. But so I think the big issue with the Warlock, more so Demonology here, but Warlock spec trees in general, we'll look at it in a minute, is that they're just too bloated with talents. We talked about it a little bit in the changes video that came out a few days ago. I think we simply just have too many talents. And we also have a lot of 2-point nodes compared to a lot of classes. Some classes do have more, but they typically have less overall talent points than us. Destruction is the most talent points of any spec in the game and the most 2 talent points of any spec in the game. It is incredibly bloated. And Demo, I think, suffers in a similar fashion. So we talked about it a bit already, but these nodes here, Fel Invocation, Shadow Invocation, I like these both. They're very cool. I wouldn't mind just baking them into Bombers. Just make this part of Bombers, make this part of Soul Strike and Vilephain. I think it'd be more than fine. These were added in patch 10.2. These actual circular talents, these spots here didn't exist. It pathed from here into here, and here into here, into Malefic Impact and Imperator. I believe at the same time, these spots here, Demonic Calling and Inner Demons, also didn't exist until 10.1.5. I'm pretty sure the pathing just had this here, and it would basically connect this to here, being here, and this to here. So we had these 4 nodes, not this, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 2, but I believe 4, that were added in the middle of Dragonflight. And to be fair, I like them all. I think they're all pretty cool, but they are all passives. In a sense, you don't ever see the Bombers proccing off Shadow Invocation. You never see the Imps critting more, right? Hand of Gul'dan ability here just crits and does more damage. And to a similar extent, Fel Invocation is the same thing. It just soul strikes and gives you a shorter Vilephain, which feels good, I guess, in a sense, the cast time, but they're all basically passives. And elaborating further upon that, we had more talents added in the overhaul, which are also passives, which we hit on before. But if you go to the actual demo tree here, the majority of all your talents are passive. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing necessarily to have a decent bit of passives, but when we're going from a version of Demonology that we have now, on retail, to an overhauled version in a sense, removing another portal, which, you can see another portal. You can see the Pit Lord, see the demons coming out of it, which, to be fair, I think right now in its form, being removed is a good thing, but you're losing a thematic element in another portal, in Pit Lord and all that, for more passives, being Old from the Shadows, Mark of Shatug, Mark or Ferocity of Faharg, Doom, and Pact of the Eredun, right? But if you look at the tree here, the majority of our abilities are passive, right? So I mean, like passive, 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 and passive, 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 Implosion, passive. Siphon, flavorful, feels good, all the above. Inner Demons is a passive, but feels, you know, Warlock-esque, Demonology-esque. I like this ability, it's fine, but you know, passive. Passive. Grimoire, cooldown, solid. Passive, essentially, you can feel it a bit, though. Passive, passive, not passive, passive but cool, and Doom. And you have Tyrant here, which is like not being played, it's so bad. And like I said, I think thematically some things that are passive can be cool, like Power Siphon, like Inner Demons, even like Immutable Hatred and things of the sort. But like, between all the passives and also the fact that we have so many talents and so many ways to pass through the tree, and a lot of nodes in the bottom row here connecting to our end talents are 2-point nodes. They actually all are. Umbral Blaze, Imp Gang Boss, Demonic Brutality, Dread Calling, Incavitation. It makes pathing really, really hard to do. This is the build I played in AoE recently, which I'm not even playing Spiteful Recon. I'm not playing Felsunder. I'm not playing something else here too. I'm not playing Improved Tactics or Demonic Brutality because I can't spend the points to get to them, right? Because I have to spend 2 points in Imp Gang Boss and 2 points in Dread Calling to get down here, which is this is where all my points go in my capstone row, my last 10, because I can't get to them, right? Pathing-wise. Not even to mention my Tyrant is just locked behind Sack Souls, which feels like the node right here for Affliction. It has like Sacrilege and the pet damage increase. Like you want the one, or your damage increase, right? You want this node here for Athlete bad, but you don't want Sacrilege in single target. But you have to take it because it's a toll you got to pay. This is a toll to get on the highway. Pay this toll, it's bad, but then you get a reward here. But you can't get it because the tolls, the other spots are too high, right? In this row here, and even other spots up top, right? So I think the big thing when it comes to the demo tree and even the AF tree, and certainly Destro when we get to that, is that we need a reduction in likely overall talents. Like just remove some talents from the tree. Like I would say probably prune these spots. You can even prune the just like straight up pull these 4 spots out, delete these 4 circles, merge them with Imps, merge with Hand of Gul'dan, merge with Biothane and Soul Strike, and merge with Bombers, and just move these back here, or just find a way to get more less talent in the tree to make pathing easier. And on top of that, try and find a way, make these nodes to connect to your capstones here 1 talent points. Like Imp Gang Boss, Dread Calling, this used to be 1 talent point actually. Cavitation can be 1 point very easily. Umbral Blaze, realistically, Umbral Blaze and Shadow's Bite, like, while it is like a BFA talent, it was sort of cool to see it back. It's not played anywhere. And Shadow's Bite, to a similar extent, also really, really subpar. Talents like Umbral Blaze, like Shadow's Bite, those are the big ones that stick out, right? Could just be removed, and either just make room for other talents, shift maybe something else over there, put this here, put that there. I don't know, make it work, right? But between like the excessive amount of talents we have, just raw talents, and the fact that our capstone, our pre-capstone rows leading into our capstone abilities here are all 2-point nodes, the pathing is just too hard to fill out. In an AoE-based build here like I'm playing right now, I want to have my Tyrant, but currently Demonology and Affliction both aren't even playing Tyrant and Dark Lair because they're just so bad and underpowered, which very likely might get changed later on in beta with tuning and things. I hope it does, because the way Demo plays currently in retail, I like how it plays for the most part, except for the fact that my Tyrant is worse than my Grimoire and does no damage at all. The highest build on retail, actually, like an AoE, actually doesn't even play Tyrant, but you don't play the build because it's just miserable to play. But currently, if it goes live like this, which it's not going to, but if it does, you're not playing your Tyrant. The toll here with Sackfuls is too much, and you don't have enough points here. You want Wicked Maw, you want Mark Fatigue, you want Fahar, you want this row. You can't even play Doom and Doomguard. The new talent was put here, right? Which I think this should more just be up here. You could just remove these 2 talent points here and put Doom in this thing here and be more than fine. I actually wouldn't mind that. It would trim 2 passives and just put Doom and Pact back where they were. I don't think Doom and Pact are strong enough to be a capstone. I don't. Putting them here would be fine. And just, you can trim these 2, merge these 2, merge these 4, and like make these 1 talent points, and it would make the tree flow much, much better. At the same time, you could just bump Tyrant up a row here, back to where it was. So Tyrant, return Soulbound Tyrant, which is gone, the 5 shards. Make Soulbound Tyrant a 1-point talent node, not 2. It's currently 2 on retail. So 1 point gives you 5 shards, maybe Tyrant, and then put Rain and Grim Warlocks below it, right? Because Dark Souls here just feels like it's an odd pathing choice. It is, I guess it is like universally applicable because you do cast, Shadow Bolts and all that in Mythic Plus, but nowhere near as much as AoEing. This feels really bad having this here. At the same time, 2% feels bad at one rank. I think it's time for Dark Souls just to go. But elaborating further upon that, a lot of talents here in general, a lot of 2-point nodes here in this row, making your other row hard to access, which can be changed. But I think a larger issue is that there's just a lot of talents in general that are passives. And like the core rotational gameplay for an overhaul doesn't really feel like an overhaul. It feels like, the same as it does on retail, which is not bad, but demonology is flavorful. It has like these, demons summoned from the nether and all this crazy stuff happening, right? Which, if you're playing Diabolist, does feel that way. But if you're not playing Diabolist, it's just the same way as it is currently on retail, barring a couple little buffs here and there, right? I mean, all the new talents, Shadowcaster, Pact, well, this is like essentially a passive, but you can feel this passive, right? Because it summons a Doom Guard, Mark, Ferocity, Rune, Demonic Brutality, Fiendish Prowess, Demonic Tactics, they're all passives. They're all passives, right? So I really wouldn't mind. I'd like some kind of like expansion upon these, merging of talents, removal of dead talents like this, merge these together, and add some talents you can feel like we're like third Dreadstalker, which obviously demonic core wise would be a problem. I wouldn't even care if you kept the core, have it still give 2 cores back, but give me a third dog. That'd be cool. Like a third Dreadstalker would be so good down here. Have it path into like all this like dog buffs here into like put Doom up here, put third dog here, but you only get 2 cores still, and put it here where you have the old talent that had the imps in the back of your dogs. You had, in Legion, you had, I forget what it was called, but you had a talent that whenever you spawn your dogs, an imp would be on their back, and they would run the combat on top of the dog, riding in the combat, and attack from the back of the dog. That'd be so cool, man. Just throw this up here, which is fine. I don't even mind Doom where it's at currently. Our tier bonus is better on retail, but throw that up here, and, just have that come back. Give us third dog, keep the demonic core, whatever, and have the imps ride in the back of the dogs. It fits here so well. There's dog buffs here, Wicked Maw. These are the 2 dogs from Taurus, Shatug and Fahard, right? And put it right here. That'd be a 6 side of the tree. It feeds into AoE, which is this side of the tree. That'd be perfect. That'd be so cool, right? And you could, it's a passive, but you could feel it, and you can see it, and it's fun to play with, right? Context. By the way, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an enjoyable passive, something you can see, not just like a crit bonus, like a crit bonus, or attack speed increase or damage done increase. You can't really feel any of these. I want to feel like thematic demonology is summoning more pets and all that. They did mention in the other blue post that Nether Portal's coming back at some point. They don't know when exactly, but they want to overhaul it, which is, I think, a good idea. I don't know if that's more of a beta thing or a next expansion kind of thing, but that's cool. But for the most part, there's a lot of passives here. Now, I was sent a list from somebody in Discord, Disposable Hero, thank you, of every single spec in the game and the number of raw talent points in their spec trees, and then the number of 2-point nodes in their spec trees. Flashbang warning, but here it is. So we have every single class in the game. Destruction is wildly bloated at 56 total talent points. I don't even know how many you get from 1 to 70, but it ain't that much, obviously, but Destruction is wildly bloated, being 56 talent points. The next closest one is Demonology at 50, and tied to Elemental at 50. And it has 16 2-point nodes. Barring, like, the couple outliers here, it's almost double the next highest, number of 2-point nodes spec in the game. Now, I will say, Destro has not been overhauled yet. It's likely going to change at some point. Probably trim it down a good bit. But, if it's similar pathing to Demonology or Affliction, it's likely worth looking at and just trimming talents, right? For example, let me hop in the Destro here really fast. Channel Demon Fire. Some like it, some hate it. Either way, it is what it is. You can make this 1 talent point. Flashbang. You can make this 1 talent point. You can just remove it straight up. You could, trim Conflagration to 1 talent point. You could remove Soulfire or merge Soulfire and Decimation together. Merge Ruin at 1 point, or just make it, part of it and remove it, right? There's a lot of bloat in the general tree here. Improved Immolate 2 points. Scalding Flames 2 points. It's hard to get sacrificed. It's way down here. Fire and Brimstone 2 points. Terrible at 1 point. 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. A lot of bloat in the Destro tree as well. I don't want to harp on it too much though, because it's likely going to get overhauled and changed, and it'll be different when that comes out. So I'm waiting for that. But putting aside even Destro, I mean, like, Affliction has, I believe, 42, which is actually on the lower end. And that was, you know, a recent overhaul, which is solid. But it still has 9 2-point talent nodes, which is not like an insane outlier, like 16. But if you look, a lot of classes, a Monk has 0 apparently, and they got reworked recently. 2, 4, 4, 9, 5, 6, 5. I pulled up a handful of trees here. I mean, looking at Mage, Arcane Mage, they have, I think, 2, 1, 2. They have 3 2-point nodes. I also live in Florida. I might miscount here, but they have 3 2-point nodes. Everything else is 1 point. Fire, I believe, has 1, which is right here. No, they actually have more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you look at Frost, I think Frost is the one that has 1 2-point talent node, which is right here. It has 2, actually. Okay, it has 3. Either way, it's not 9. It's not 11. It's not 16, right? And I don't think it's fair comparing to other classes necessarily, you know, comparing to others. But at the same time, like, when it comes to class design, I think Blizz has gotten really good at redesigning spec trees and class trees and all that. But I think pathing-wise, Warlock is not in the same spot as Mage, or I pulled the Red Paladin here. It's a web of 1-point nodes with a few 2s here, like 2, 2. A web of 1-point nodes, nowhere near as bloated as Demonology is. Balanced Root as well, a bunch of 1-point nodes, a 2-pointer here, 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 but like, you know, it's just, it's not the same. And it makes pathing very difficult to do when it comes to building an AoE build or a single target build. I can't really even get my actual main cooldown, which is my Tyrant, because of all the nodes that, you know, it is locked behind as far as Demonology is concerned. You know, that whole row, Umbro Blaze, Imp Gang Boss, the new Demonic Brutality talent, which is like cool, I guess, but like Dread Calling. I mean, these could all be 1 talent nodes realistically. Blaze and Shadow's Bite could be trimmed. 1.111, and if you made these 1-point talent nodes, right, let's backtrack here, right? If you made these 1-point talent nodes, so I have 12 points here, got to spend 2 more to get down here. I go like bang bang, we're filled in here. You can go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 if you want. You can go 1 2 3 4. Let's just do it, right? You can go like let's say we have 10 points left. You can go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10 if you want. Like, you're skipping dog empowerments here, so maybe you don't do that. Maybe you go like no Doom, no this. You go like Tyrant, this. You have 2 points left. You can go like bang into Mark Fatigue and a point here in Ferocity. Maybe even make Ferocity impact the other 1 talent point. So you're still missing out on these other nodes down here, right? You can't get Expendables, Impact, and Ferocity. And I don't think every node needs to be 1 point. You shouldn't be able to get every single one, essentially. When you're missing out on large elements like these, which are blatantly obvious that you need them in AoE, right? But Guillotine's way over here, and you have all these pet empowerments, it's hard to get to. I think Guillotine could just be moved in general, but I don't know where you put it. It's like, well, it's way over here on the single target side of the tree, but everything else is over here. You got to path through here to get it. So maybe you don't play it, maybe just play like this instead, where you have dog empowerments, all of this, and you have, you know, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and you go like 9 and maybe 10, right? But that feels so much better having these 1-point nodes here and here, and just trimming Blaze, trimming this to 1, or getting rid of this completely, you know, and going from there. It's a similar case when it comes to Affliction as well. I will say that I actually like the AF overhaul if it's going to stay Rapture based, which it is staying Rapture based. I'm okay with that in the long run. It is what it is. Obviously, UA Spender would be a little nicer, but it is what it is. But the problem with AF, to a similar extent, is that it's hard to build everything that you want when it comes to single target builds or AoE builds. I think TSG tweeted about it too. Let me try and find the link here. Yeah. In the AF tree, in every single situation, you need to almost pick these talents no matter what. That is 16 points that are throwing the generic talent or damage increases, right? I think they're pretty cool, actually, to be fair, but all these talents here you basically need, right? I mean, this is Contagion, this is Malediction. You know, I think you can maybe skip out on Empowered UA, which I did here, but in single target, I certainly want Empowered UA. I want Relinquished. You know, I want these single target nodes, but it's hard to get to, right? An ability like this, Summoner's Embrace, when you have, you know, Sacrolash sitting here, like, you want this. This is really, really good. This is like an aura buff to your class when you're not good enough, right? But unfortunately, Sacrolash is sitting here. It's like, this is like a weird ability. It's not, it is universally applicable, but the curses don't work on bosses. Some of them don't, some do don't. By the way, the curse part's been irrelevant for a long time for the most part. And in general, this felt better being down here when it was in this spot roughly, where it connected to, like, you know, other AoE-esque abilities in this part of the tree or over here somewhere. Realistically, you could just delete it and put something else here, put Death's Embrace here. But this is required. Certainly is required. But you're paying the toll. Same as Sack Souls and the Tyrant for Demonology. You're paying the toll of, you'll get on the highway, it sucks, gotta pay this to do damage, right? And everything else, I mean, you're going to want, you know, Empowered UA. You're going to want Kindle Malice. You're going to want Contagion. You're going to want Malediction. You're going to want this row here. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, basically 10 nodes here, or 10 talent points that you have to spend. You know, you have to spend those, right? I mean, he even hits on things like all these, which technically you do want all these, right? You want, you know, 12, 14, 16. You want all of these. I can't even get improved Malediction, or sorry, improved Malefic Rapture in single target. I can't get UA here. I can't even get Relinquished because I don't have enough points, right? If you made Malediction 1 point, if you made Contagion 1 point, if you made this 1 point, this 1 point, this 1 point, maybe even leave one of them at 2 points. I don't know. It would improve pathing drastically, where you could actually get into these, right? If I pulled like 2 points here, these are both rank 1 talents. You can go just bang, double improve Rapture. All your roads are open. You can go 3, 6, 9, and then 10, whatever you want, right? But I can't even get Dark Glare down here, right? Because I don't have enough points available to me. Like, there's a point down here I can get, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can't get that point because I want full Contagion. I want full Malediction. I'm not currently playing Dark Glare. I'm not currently playing Tyrant for Demonology as well because, number one, they're underpowered. And number two, like, I don't have enough points, right? So I am a fan of the AF overhaul for the most part. I actually like these coming back. Contagion, Malediction. I think for a dot-based class, it's thematically harder in a sense to make passives like so that you can feel, right? Like Demonology, like I said, third dog, the imps in their back riding in, right? A cool visual pit lord, nether portal. That's like cool-ish, right? You know, nether portal might be a passive, but you get what I'm saying, right? Dots are dots, you know. And Malediction, Contagion, these have been around for in other forms for a long time. They are sort of iconic. This is actually from Legion. This was, I forgot what it's called, but it was there. This is also from Legion, right? And like making UA faster cast time actually feels pretty good. The Shadow Bolt cast time reduction here feels pretty good. Probably gonna play Shadow Bolt in single target, and it feels okay because it casts so quickly, right? The Shard Gen through Empowered UA and Relinquished, they're passives, but you can sort of feel them in a sense because you're getting more shards coming in. But I can't access those nodes because I have to spend points on other spots. So like making these making like this one talent points and like just putting something else here of relevance, like throw like, now you can even put PS Vialtaint here. This is much more relevant universally. Put this node here, put this in the garbage can, and put like, you can then go PS Vialtaint, which you're playing all the time, into Summoner's Embrace, and that would feel so much better, right? Because you're paying the toll, like, you know, here to get here, but it's a toll you want to pay. Not like, oh, I gotta play Sacrilege to get to this, it's not good, right? That feels bad. This is like Seize Vitality was, which was down here between Haunt and Haunted Soul, but it's gone now. That was a great change, right? So I think the big problem when it comes to like the Warlock Spec trees and stuff, mostly Demo here, a little bit of Destro, or sorry, AF as well. Obviously Destro, but like that's like, you know, probably gonna change whenever the overhaul comes in, is that there's just too many raw talents. There's too many 2-point nodes, as you can see here, obviously. This is probably going to change, so Destro's, wait and see what happens. But there's a lot of 2-point nodes that are also in spots that connect to like capstone rows and all that, which make it hard to get to. And in the end, there's a lot of talent nodes that were added in 10.1, 10.15, 10.2 that likely aren't really needed. They're cool. Like I like what they do. They empower your Soul Striker, Vile Fiend, they empower your bombers, but you can just take this and bake it into bombers. Literally, like putting this into bombers would actually make bombers competitive with demonic strength, because like, yo, you have strength at a minute, bombers a half minute, but you know it works with bombers when you're casting Hand of Gold Dance too. That probably make bombers better than strength and Mythic Plus. In rating though, likely strength based. Merge this, make Soul Strike just do the same thing, give us a shard, more damage, and make Vile Fiend's cast time shorter. Make it torque fire damage. That'd be great. And like these abilities on their own feel naked. They don't really do much, but when combined with this, they feel much better. You could take these abilities, merge them together, remove these, move them somewhere else, and put these back where they were, and you have 4 spots saved, talent saved, and then trim these down to 1 talent rank so you can just get to these final rows here easier. Have your 10 points available to you for Demo, Destro, or AF in the bottom row here. So you can spend all 10 of your capstones. Because like having to do this, like spending 7 or 8 points down here and having to go up here into the other parts of your tree to spend points to get down here or whatever, other nodes you need, feels bad. You know, everyone's been there. We're like, oh, cool. I'm down at my, you know, bottom of the tree, right? I don't know where talent even is. There. You know, I'm getting to the bottom of my tree. I have my 10 points available, but I gotta unfortunately spend, you know, 2 more points. Like I'm down here, right? Cool. I got 10 points available, but this row's not unlocked. So I got to spend these big 10, you know, like capstone points in lesser abilities to get to my cool abilities. And that feels really bad, gameplay wise, right? So I got to spend 2 in Dread Calling, which used to be 1 talent, it used to be rank 1, not 2 ranks, to get down here. Now I'm down here, so I can get Entorin, Infernal Command, Guillotine, I can get this, this, and this, but I'm out of points. And I have no Tyrant, I have no Doom, which is a new overhaul you're never going to play because you can't get to it. I don't have Grand Warlocks, and if I get that, or if I want it, I got to pass through a toll that feels terrible in Sack Souls, right? Now, like I said, I don't want this feedback to be considered or taken as in like a aggressive, negative way. I'm just passionate about it. It's early in the morning, the sun's out, got some energy today, and you know, I wanted to hit on this in a more in-depth angle because the video I put out a few days ago, people were like, "Oh, you're too passive about it, this and that." In the end, like, I mean, I'm not trying to be. It's just, you know, I want to be constructive in feedback, but at the same time, I'm passionate about it. And I want it to be exciting and playable. I wanted to save this for a different video as well. And briefly, as far as demonic cores are concerned, demonic core economy, I understand the concern there. Removing demonic knowledge, it's a 10% chance. It's a every handed ghoul that you cast, every 1 in 10 will give you a demonic core. We've all been there where you Tyrant, all your pets are out and lasting for a long time. You have their cores and demonic knowledge procs. That does indeed feel good. I will give you that much, right? And in general, hey, losing any kind of core economy does feel bad. I get that. I'm on the side of keeping core economy where it's at, but that's been preached for a very long time. And in the end, you got to just sort of figure out or just say, hey, you know, it is what it is. Get feedback on it, but hopefully it doesn't change much. I will say, improved Shadow Bolt. I know Shadow Bolt memes, all that does feel pretty good to cast. Like it's a 25% reduction. If I can find my toy box here, if I have a turnip, I don't know if I do. You can literally, like, my Shadow Bolts are under the GCD, like barely. Like they are so fast. Like you are zooming. I'm not saying it's like, oh, Shadow Bolt's great or anything, but they are so fast. It's under the GCD. You can't move while casting them. But the spec does feel more fluent with like shorter Shadow Bolt cast time. So just keep that in mind. I get it's not demonic cores. I understand all the above. We got to see where it goes. But, you know, there's feedback out there on not nerfing Demo's ability too much and all that. But those are the big things that I wanted to hit on. Also, you know, you could just put Soulbound Tyrant, the shard granting ability into Tyrant baseline. Just make that part of Tyrant baseline. Don't even need to add a node here. Just make it part of Tyrant. That would make Tyrant more relevant again in every setting, because right now you're not even really playing it at all. Casting Tyrant, getting those 5 shards, and fueling your demons whenever you cast it felt great. But yeah, losing Demonic Knowledge and losing Soulbound Tyrant, if you're going to play it, will feel sort of slow. And, well, you know, sort of clunky. Could make Imp Gang Boss the way it used to be as well, which you have just like, you know, the imps coming back to you. That was a passive that didn't feel like a passive, because you would implode and get like 7 imps back. And that was a great version of a passive that didn't feel passive, and it felt demonology based, right? So we'll see where it goes. A lot of feedback out there, obviously, but this is what I want to hit on. I'm going to try and write it up in a document today, tomorrow, something like that. It's going to be a lot to write up, and I'm busy right now, but want to get this video out to y'all, and yeah, hopefully y'all agree. Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully the video wasn't too rambly, but I really wanted to like just try and hit on, you know, the pathing issues that Demo faces, AF sort of faces now, and Destro might face, with it being 56 overall talents and 16 2-point nodes. But keep in mind, once again, Destro has not yet been reworked, which likely will, you know, prune down a bunch of those 2-point nodes, but there is still disparity. You can go through that list I put up of the classes that have been overhauled. I mean, Mage, Rogue, Windwalker, other specs, Ret here and there, and they have very few 2-point nodes in better pathing. You know, 1-point nodes leads to better pathing, comparatively to, you know, Warlock trees in AF and Demo that have a lot of 2-point nodes, makes pathing restrictive. and all that. So I want to draw attention to that today. Once again, the next video that comes out in a day or so is based around actual raw feedback on individual talent points. Probably hit a bit on, some being 2.0 as well. I want to give more like flavor, thematic, feedback, and then go from there. All that being said, thanks for watching, guys. If you want any week horrors or add-ons or profiles of mine, links to Twitch and Discord down below in the description, where you can get them all for free. At the same time, before we end, I want to give a shout out to my patrons, like always, before we end. Thank you for also supporting Patreon, guys, a million times. Like always, I really appreciate it. If you look at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. And yeah, like I said, at the start of the video, if I mentioned it or not, I won't be here next Wednesday or Thursday. There's been alpha builds every Thursday for the past month or so. I'm out of town. I get back late Thursday night. So if there are changes that come, likely be a later stream that evening, or just Friday earlier, depending how late I get back. But hoping for some changes to Destro, and chances are high that if they are going to make large talent node changes, it might not be in next week's build, depending on how fast they can work on things, and maybe they won't in general. Who knows? But I want the class to be fun, enjoyable, and honestly, like I don't mind the AF changes overall. Obviously, UA spender is a thing, or not going to be a thing. All that, I get it, I understand. I prefer it as well, but in the end, for what Rapture is, I think it's a good tree. Just a lot of 2.0 nodes issues there, but hopefully we'll look at that, address that, and go from there. So, all that being said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.